longer a luxury, but survival gear. From spreadsheets to smart dashboards, from pen paper to cloud fast. So if you have ever said that ये सभी बड़ी companies के लिए है, तो think again, because today is about bringing the innovators to your doorsteps. Come on, so let us begin with the panel discussion 1, Digital Transformation for MSMEs, moderated by none other than Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, a 1985 batch IAS officer and former Chief Secretary of Tamil Nadu, whose stellar career spans public policy, economic reforms, and federal governance. So come on everyone, put your hands together. Let us welcome our key moderator here on the dais for the panel discussion 1. And let me introduce the key panelists. Introducing Srimati Ashwita Lalji, Director MSME Niti Aayog and IRS officer from the 2008 batch. She currently serves as Director at Niti Aayog, leading work on industry and foreign investment. So come on, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for her welcome. Next joining us is Sri Abhishek Dalmia, the Head Strategic Alliances and Developer Ecosystem at Telesolutions, with almost 20 years of cross-industry experience. And next, Srimati Nandini Podarala, currently working as Director Partner Technology Lead at Microsoft India. She is passionate technology and with diverse IT experience in technical leadership and strategy, pre-sales, solution design and architecture, product development and product management. So come on everyone, let us welcome Ms. Nandini here on the stage. And last but not the least, Shri Atish Kumar Singh, Joint Secretary, Ministry of MSME. Well, he will be joining us shortly. So before that, let us begin with the enlightening panel discussion here. The topic is digital transformation for MSME. So it's going to be one of the helpful discussion wherein we will be covering many challenges that every small business, medium business might be facing in nowadays, right? It is a tech-savvy world, so we have to keep up with the pace as well, right? So come on everyone, let us welcome our moderator, our panelists on the stage, and let us begin with the panel discussion.
Okay, let's start this session. This panel is on digital transformation for MSMEs, and we have been allotted 1 hour. But because we are a little behind schedule, we have little lesser time. But depending upon the enthusiasm of participation, we will try to then moderate and see how we take it along. As you have been told, we have an eminent set of panelists, and they have been introduced. And I, as a moderator, would give you some opening remarks. All of us know about what digitalization is, and digital transformation of the MSMEs. It involves integrating digital technologies into their operations to improve efficiency, improve their customer experience, and overall business outcomes. So the idea is, I mean, it's obvious that it should be very useful to them, but why it is not happening? We all know MSMEs can automate their processes, improve their efficiency, reduce operational costs, which will make them competitive and gain more market share for themselves. It gives them a bigger market, through digital marketing, online marketing. But still, we all know from our experience that the MSMEs lag behind in taking full advantage of the technology and the digitalization process. And we all know why, because there could be limited digital literacy, lack of digital infrastructure where they operate, and also their concerns or their misgivings about what this whole new structure is. There can be a high cost of technology for some of them because, as we have all been told, that many of them are very small. And because of that, they have no access, they have no knowledge, they don't have skill, workforce to get into this digital transformation pathway. And for that, we should also take into account what government has been doing. The government has been, for a long time, trying to improve all this through various methods. We have the digital stack, which you all know. India prides itself in the world today in trying to lead the digital transformation in a public systems way. And when we do that, we also need to see that we carry the MSMEs along. And today's discussion is for that. Now, a little bit, I thought I will mention where I come from. In fact, first let me start with thanking Mr. Arvind. We go a long way. You see, we were students together 43 years back. We were yesterday trying to figure out how many years. 43 years back, we were students in IIM Ahmedabad. And then we went in different areas. He went into banking, and then he went abroad. He was almost 30 years. I mean, he kept coming once in a while for visiting. And I remember once or twice we met, but 30 years he's been away from India. Now he comes back to India and trying to, organize this whole big show and trying to see what could be most important for him. So he has chosen that it's the MSMEs who need more, help and trying to have this kind of a mahotsav. So let me again say that I'm very happy for calling me here. I took a different path. I joined the government, and as you all know, I was allotted the Tamil Nadu cadre of the Indian Administrative Service. And to the MSMEs side, I must share with you, tell you that I have a lot of interaction over last 4 decades. Very particularly, I was in Government of India as Director and then Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. And specifically, I was handling some of the subjects which we are talking about, including the intellectual property regime. And, there's a champions, some of you, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs here, there is one scheme of the government which is still running, which is called the MSME Champions. It actually is, let's say, a refinement of what we had started 20 years back. And I will share with you a little bit of how things, this is an interesting example in itself. Maybe when time permitting, we will get into that. So I, from here, after being here for 5 years in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, I was given a very unique opportunity to be part of something called the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Now, this is something which is very unique. I don't know how many of you are aware. This was what it was a highest level think tank, and it used to report to the Prime Minister directly and comprised of the highest levels of decision making, and it had the best of academics, the best of industrialists, the cream of what you can think the Indian society was represented in this. And the idea was to push manufacturing. And doing that, the central theme was that unless the Indian industry is internationally competitive, it cannot, be what we are aspiring for in terms of being a manufacturing powerhouse in the world. So I served there, and there again we looked at MSME. And then I was, I went to the Tamil Nadu government, and there I was fortunately again given the charge of Industries Commissioner. And I was able to, contribute to make the MSME policy of Tamil Nadu in 2008. Tamil Nadu was the first state in the country to make a separate MSME policy. If you recall, Government of India had done this in 2007. when the MSME policy came out. And it is relevant today, that's why I'm quoting. So we did it for Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu, as we all know, had the largest number, or is one of the largest number of, small factories in the whole of the country, as per the, if you see the census reports of the factories. So all that is there, and that brings me to later on then I was industry secretary in Tamil Nadu looking after major industries. So I had a whole career, looking at all this. I came back to the Government of India looking at GST, where again there is an issue of, I was Special Secretary GST Council, will speak for a few minutes. Then the next 20 minutes, we will have some specific questions to the co-panelists, and the last 15 minutes would be towards audience taking questions. So, and this obviously is something depending upon how we see all of you participate. So let me stop here. I have taken a little more than what I had initially thought. Let me, at this point of time, request my co-panelists, because now Atish Kumar Singh is supposed to join a bit late. We will start with Ashwita. Ashwita is in the Niti Aayog, looking after the subject. She is also handling FDI, so she has a wider perspective coming from the Indian Revenue Service. So I'll ask her to give her introductory comments first.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Very good afternoon to all my esteemed seniors and colleagues on the panel, and to all the audience members present here. So while sir has taken you over most of what is digital transformation, I would like to begin by saying that the MSMEs are the cornerstone of our economy, where they are contributing almost 30% to by way of GDP and 45% to the exports. So when we speak of transformation of GDPs, the transformation of MSMEs, digital transformation becomes a very key component, almost integral to the transformation of MSMEs. Now, what is digital transformation? So it is not merely the automation of processes like we understand, where we say it could be inventory management or something like accounting. It is a more integrated process, like Sir said, where we are improving the efficiencies of MSMEs and also ensuring that they are reducing costs. So now these solutions could be ranging from things like their online presence or e-commerce. They could be things like cloud computing, where we are looking at cost-effective solutions in terms of data storage, servers. It can be data analytics, where the MSMEs are using data to analyze customer behavior or analyze market trends so that they would be able to optimize their solutions better. And we also make use of things in smart manufacturing like generative AI, robotics. So when we say digitization, it's an umbrella term that we are talking of. Now, that brings me to the moot point as to why do we say there is a need for digitization? Now, as we know that global value chains are progressing very rapidly, and there is a need for us to integrate into these value chains to be able to access the markets globally. So therein comes the need for the MSMEs that are present in India, where we need to enhance the capabilities so that we do not miss out on the opportunity to integrate with these global value chains. Now, sir was asking me to speak on the barriers, so I will not delve deeply into them, but I will touch upon some of them. So the main barriers are, of course, like we said, financial. Now, the financial barriers, so to speak, are associated with the upfront costs of scaling up your digital infrastructure to optimize the solutions that are being offered. Then, of course, financial costs also will include the access to credit. Then there are gaps in skilling, gaps in digital literacy. So many of the MSMEs do not have the technical expertise or know-how, even if we are offering the solutions to be able to leverage them or utilize them. There are also issues of cyber security, confidentiality of data. At times, there is a hesitance on the part of MSMEs to adopt these new changes, where they would require a bit of hand-holding. Now, Niti Aayog recently had worked on 2 projects, and we came out with 2 reports, one on improving the effectiveness of MSMEs, and the other was on a medium policy for MSMEs. So I would like to draw upon some of the recommendations that were made therein for digitization. So as we know that presently we have technology centers and extension centers that are working under the aegis of the Ministry of MSME. Now, these technology centers provide technology solutions as well as skilling to the MSMEs. So one of the recommendations therein is that we leverage these technology centers to SME competence centers, which are adopting Industry 4.0 standards. So now, these technology centers will be equipped with things like Internet of Things labs, AR, VR stations, rapid prototyping facilities, things like 3D printing. They will also have services offered for consultancy to digital startups. We hope to operate these in a hub and spoke model, so to speak. So in this, the technology center or the TC will act as the hub where they will have cutting edge technologies, and the extension centers will act as a spoke where they will be taking these technologies to underserved areas. So this is what was proposed. Also, another recommendation that we had therein was that research and development is integral to any digital transformation. So we have also proposed an MSME Research and Innovation Fund. So now this fund will invite proposals from the enterprises themselves to bridge the gaps in R&D. Now, why we are saying that we will be inviting proposals from the enterprises themselves is to increase the quality of proposals because of competition, and at the same time, we would be able to align our goals and priorities as per the national objectives. And for these purposes, we already have a self-reliant India fund that is present. So it is proposed that 25 to 30% of the component of the government share would now be reserved and kept aside for the purposes of this fund. And we hope that with these initiatives, we are able to boost the adoption of Industry 4.0, and we will enable the participation of our MSMEs in the global value chain, where they would be able to access markets abroad. And this opportunity will leverage, like Sir said, manufacturing within India as well. So the idea is to boost domestic manufacturing to align with what we say Make in India for the end purposes of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I thank you very much. I thank the association for having me here today. Thank you, Arvind sir.
Thank you, Ashwita, for giving us those details. And the audience will well appreciate that we have a very balanced panel. 4 of us, 2 from government, and also 2 from private sector. And we also have very good gender, balancing. So you see, fortuitously, it is a good time where we now shift to the other side, which is even more important, what the industry has a view on it. And we have industry represented by, again, 2 very big names, Tally and Microsoft. Again, they don't need any introduction. All of you who are, they're very big names, and we are fortunate to have them talk to us today. So Abhishek Dalmia is from Tally, and we'll have his opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Rajiv ji, and very good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, a pleasure and honor to be here, sharing my views and hearing the views of the elite panel with me. Why do I say as being a big honor and, a prestigious moment? Because I have been in Tally, this is my 17th year in Tally, and fortunately I can say that Tally specifically focuses on the MSME, and their growth, their prosperity is something which we live by. That is why I am very honored to be here, because here whatever we are talking is about that growth of MSME, digital adoption of MSME, a lot of these things which will make them more efficient, which will make them more competent, a lot of things which can make them make sure that they grow and India prospers because of that. As ma'am said, 30–40% of the GDP is contributed by them, and a lot of export, which is very crucial for the country. On the other hand, I would also like to say, unfortunately, at least my view is that MSMEs in India are little underserved. They are basically the acquisition of a customer, a MSME customer, the cost of acquisition might seem high for many of the technology providers or something of that sort. And therefore, generally, the tendency is to go with corporates, give solutions for corporates, very sort of customized solutions for corporates. But people try to or tend to ignore the MSME, and therefore I feel they are underserved. We, at least at Tally, make sure that whatever we give at an affordable price, because MSMEs work with very minimal margin. They are very price sensitive. They are very finicky about the value what they get for what they invest. And that is what makes us keep going and driving the technology what we provide to them. As we spoke, when we talk about digitization, when we talk about technology, AI is a buzzword right now. So currently we are working on a lot of solutions revolving AI, which can be affordable and reliable and secure, as again ma'am said, for MSMEs, so that they are not scared of using it, they can afford to use it and take maximum advantage of it. When I was introduced, I was told, it was told that I have a cross-industry experience. So yeah, actually I started with a tax consultancy firm. My career, I started with that. And then I joined a company which was manufacturing silk fabrics. So quite a contrast. And then for 8 years, actually I ran a company on my own, so which was a MSME. So I can really understand what a MSME thinks about, how they think about. Yeah, and therefore, I would say it's an honor to be here, and thank you so much, Arvind sir, to call me here.
Thank you, Abhishek. Then now we shift to the last co-panelist, Nandini, who is from Microsoft. And before I hand over the mic to her, I thought I will give a small anecdote. Yesterday, when we were when the preparation was there as to how we can coordinate this, I was relating my experience when I was, looking at doing something for the MSME. I was telling you about the NMCC story, National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Now, this was a policy level, highest level of body, which had as I said, from Ratan Tata to, you name the industrialists, you were there, to the senior most secretaries of the most relevant department, from finance secretary. So everybody, the directors of IIT, IIMs. So all these, this is what the think I'm talking about. So the idea came was, okay, we are at very high level, stratospheric, 80,000 feet height. Why don't NMCC try to do something directly at the field level? So when that idea came, they asked me, okay, you are the youngest in the system, you should do something about it. So I leveraged my experience. I was mentioning working in the industry department. So my area was IPR, intellectual property rights. I was involved with the change of the entire legislative system in the country. So I tried to say that MSMEs, they should also be IPR literate. Now this we are talking about 2004-05, and that's how the champion scheme came, which is today also, now up to 1 crore is being given for, for patents, for all these kinds of, rights of, say, trademark. So I'm just making a point that, so coming back to Microsoft, they said, all right, let's talk they are not very good at digitalization. That time it was computerization. So we said, all right, let's talk to the biggest provider. And Microsoft was very keen to work with government also. So Mr. Ravi Venkateshan was then the Microsoft India head. He was roped in, and he roped in the CEO of Microsoft. In fact, I must share with you that the then CEO, worldwide CEO, he was involved. Steve Ballmer came, we had an MOU with him at the Government of India level. And what it resulted was, for example, we don't want to take much time. Wanted to mention this was that a project Vikas was conceived, which was looking at helping MSMEs in the cluster, because it's very difficult to, look at the small one. So we identified, and India has 300, 400 identified clusters where MSMEs have done very well. So, and because mine was Tamil Nadu system, so Tirupur, as you all know, was a hub. So Tirupur was identified and it was launched in 2006, then 7, and it went on. I'll not get into it. There was a leather cluster in Agra, and there were pharmaceutical cluster in Ahmedabad, automotive cluster in Pune, all kinds of things we did. So this is what Microsoft brought to the table, saying that MSMEs, and it grew the market in a big way. So this is where I wanted to mention and ask Nandini now to take over.
Thank you, sir. So first of all, it's an honor to be here and sharing the stage with the esteemed panelists. And thank you, Arvind. And I think from here I can see a very diverse audience and participation that's also very encouraging, because some of you are maybe born within last 5 years, or some of you have been there for last 20 years, bringing a great, huge experience in this forum. And we really look forward for making it interactive when we get into Q&A discussions. So first, I want to start saying that the relationship between Microsoft and the government still continues the same way. In fact, our CEO, Satya Nadella, when he was here in January, he announced a program, skilling program, especially to build AI skills in India through a program called Advantage India. And I'm very confident that the program is progressing so very well, because it's openly available for everybody to consume the skilling resources that are available from Microsoft on AI and cloud. Okay, that's something which is very glad to see that we are progressing in the same path. Okay, now coming to my opening remarks, I want to start by saying dream big. Okay. The reason is we know the examples we see all day in, day out, whether it is the companies coming from outside or our own startups in India, how they have evolved. And the only reason they could do, and the kind of numbers what Ashwita shared, it's just because you all are doing that great job of adopting technology. I think most of you would have already adopted technology, and that's where technology enables all those challenges that was mentioned by the panelists here. But having said, why I said is also important that you're here for a purpose, right? MSME, you're here as a purpose with a business that you are driving, and eventually the objective is to grow your business, right? And grow and expand your reach globally. All that is possible only through digital transformation, or now AI transformation, right? So there are few things that would be foundational. I strongly believe each of you must be already using, even if you're using an Excel sheet to manage your business, you're already digitized, right? If you're using some way of capturing in a smart laptop, you're already digitized. The reason is that it is something that is helping you to run the business, or you're helping your own employees to be successful, or helping your customers. So looking at this, the way Microsoft leads the transformation journey with customers of all sizes is through 4 pillars, right? First one, like what Sir mentioned, enriching customer experience or employee experience, right? So I'll first talk about employee experience. It's taking care of your own people, right? How do you empower your people on field who are the frontline workers who are serving your business, right? So it's important you look at what is that transformation that you can do, whether it is about their well-being or whether it is about a field person being on a customer service request. How do you empower them with all the required knowledge and insights? Using technology is the first pillar of digital transformation or AI transformation. Second one is personalized customer experience, right? We have seen this. I myself, when I call for an AC maintenance at home, every time they come and they ask us, can you show me your maintenance invoice, so that they want to check if it is under the coverage of that 1-year period of contract. Why, right? Why do I have to go to the pile of papers to pull that invoice to show them that, yes, my AC is under warranty? Okay. why not empower field team with that insight, which also results into customer satisfaction. So while large enterprises are looking at contact center transformation or providing personalized customer experience, small businesses are also need to take the journey now, right? Third one is reshaping your business processes, right? Many things, I mean, like maybe you're, even if you're using SAP or Tally or any CRM systems, how do you want to improve the processes to be more efficient, to be more productive, and to be more outcome driven, right? That's again an area, I think that's where Sir and Ashita talked about the data analytics as a way of how you can enable reshaping your business processes. The fourth one, which is very, very important for MSMEs, is a continuous innovation, right? You need to innovate to bend the curve, to grow your business, right? How do you bring technology to enable you to innovate more, right? I believe again saying that each of you must have already started the journey somewhere, but yes, there is always a balance between something what we call a system of records, like the systems that you are already using, and also the innovations. How do you bridge that gap by leveraging technology is a continuous journey. Even in Microsoft, we are continuously transforming ourselves, right? So putting 25 plus years of experience in IT industry, I've seen the project life cycles taken from 6 to 7 years, the large projects. But now with AI, the customers don't have patience. 3 to 6 months is a maximum. And it's not just about implementation, they also want to see the outcomes. So now AI is enabling you, whether you have something digitized or you have anything in place, you can start with AI, right? Even to start with a new business idea, to innovate new models, you can start with AI, right? So potential is huge, and whether it's Tally or Microsoft or anybody else, I think the technology is the enabler, I would say. Yeah, I'll stop here. Probably I'll have a lot to speak once we get into more technical conversations, Doctor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nandini. Now we switch to the second phase, which is the questions I have to put to. Now again, we don't have so much time because, as you know, it's a very vast subject. So I will have only one. Earlier we thought that we can put, I have a series of questions and that obviously will take more time. So now I'll have to only limit myself to one question per panelist, because only then we'll have the time to go to you, the audience, which is very important. So the first in the same series, I'll ask Ashwita to talk about, because we all know that central government and state government has very large number of schemes to help MSMEs. There's a separate ministry, and as I said, we have separate policies, and I mentioned about having MSME policy in Government of India from 2007 onwards. States have all come on the same platform. So there's a plethora of scheme. So I like to ask, what is the sense of, what is the awareness about it? What is the uptake of the scheme? What more can be done? Can it be on a mission mode? We keep talking about it. How to further incentivize or subsidize or balance it. And while I say so, all of you know that if your data was quoted in the morning by the keynote speaker, we have more than 6 crores, 6.5 crores MSMEs. But most of them, 98, 99% are IMEs. What are IMEs? Informal micro enterprises. So the challenge is to make them grow. The micro to small, small to medium, but it's a very big challenge. And somehow the policy has been that if they are small and fragmented, they think that they can, the formalization as a process was not very important. But now that has taken root through either the taxation system and all that. So I'll ask Asmita to quickly, mention all these aspects.
Thank you, sir. So, like you mentioned, we have a number of central and state schemes which are already in place in the realm of digitization, like the Digital MSME scheme, the Champion scheme, the RAMP. Now, interestingly, sir, we had surveyed almost 207 enterprises during the course of one study. And when we are talking of the uptake of schemes, that is. And we found that while there was awareness of schemes, the issue lay with the navigation process through which they did not know how to go about onboarding on these schemes. So it is not a question of awareness, but at times hand-holding many of the MSMEs so that they know what are the processes, what are the assistances that are available to them. In the same study, we found that there were a large number of SMEs who said that they had never even, like the Nivesh scheme, or they had not used platforms like GEM. So I think that is one area that we need to look at. And also there is a lot of multiplicity of schemes, so there is a lot of overlap. And having looked at those areas, there is another recommendation that had been given, where we are talking of a unified central portal. So to speak, a one-stop shop, if I may say. And now this portal will have an information module where the MSMEs can get to know what kind of schemes are available, the financial assistances that, and the compliances that may be required. It will also have a module where they can track the compliances. It will give them, there'll be a chatbot to be able to assist them to, know the compliances and where they are placed. And it will also have a market assistance module. So this module will let them know of the current trends that are in the various markets. So the idea is to converge or prevent the duplicity of schemes so that it is simpler for the MSMEs to uptake them. Also, I feel that things like small starter kits, digital kits or tool kits, where the MSMEs can be onboarded and they can see the tangible benefits of digitalization actually. Because another fear is, especially for the micro enterprises, I would say, where they feel that when they register, say something like the Udyam portal, the fear is that a number of regulations and compliances will start acting on them. At least that's what we gleaned in our interaction with a lot of micro enterprises. That the fear was that the moment we register, we will be up for tax scrutiny or GST compliances. So that fear needs to be dispelled. That can come through mission mode, education, or you giving them, like I said, sir, small toolkits where they can see that tangible benefits come to them, and also, of course, educating them about registering on such portals where they can have the benefit of schemes and things like access to loans without collateral, etc. So,
Thank you. As you said, it is a big area and we have short of time, but the progress is being made, as we can all appreciate. Now we shift to, learning from the experiences of, let's say, what Tally has done, how successfully it has, evolved. And we all know that's very important because enabler, it is a digital tech enabler. And unless we have more of them, and, we really, can't show progress. So I'll ask, Abhishek to quickly tell us how is this the example of a role model. What are the best practices that he wants to share, which are relevant for this audience?
Thank you, sir. And thank you for asking this question because, God has been very kind to us as an organization that we have seen in the last nearly 4 decades, a lot of MSMEs getting digitized through our platform, through our software, which gives us a lot of pleasure and pride. So when you talk about the success mantra, if I can call it, it's more about understanding what the MSME owner or MSME employee is actually struggling with. So I would say a lot of aspect depends on trust when it comes to MSME. When I say trust, it is not about that they predominantly mistrust people. It's not about that. What I mean to say is they trust somebody who they can interact with. They trust somebody who they can meet. And therefore, one thing which helped or what we tried to figure out is have a distribution channel across the country where we have representative of our partners, our channel partners, making sure that they are localized, making sure that they can talk the language of the MSME, making sure that the MSME can reach them whenever they want. That gives them the comfort, that gives them the confidence that even if I'm stuck somewhere, even if I'm not sure what to do next, I have somebody to take care of me. That gives a lot of confidence to people where when it comes to decision making, when it comes to being not sure whether the value, what perceive I will get out of this investment, whether I'll get it or not. So there are a lot of these factors which actually makes it difficult for MSMEs to take certain calls when it comes to digitization or adopting technology. The other aspect is that, I just touched upon it. It is very difficult for them to understand the value they will derive out of the investment. So it is very critical to state that to them, not in terms of rupees or not in terms of money only, but in terms of their increase in productivity. Again, MSMEs, when we talk generally, are short on bandwidth, are short on resources. Now, if we can help them increase their efficiency, if the owner is able to focus on the business more rather than trying to show or trying to get involved in the operational issues of the organization and waste his time or her time, that is something which actually they realize and they value a lot. That the owner doesn't need to actually look at the operational part. They can focus on how to grow. They can focus on customer acquisition. They can focus on many more things. Next, I would say we have been discussing about the policies, the government, what they have introduced. Very interestingly, I think GST has played a very big role. I think to make sure that people are getting more and more digitized, because GST, as we all know, is totally a digital platform where you have to upload your GSTR1 and all that. We can argue that a lot of MSMEs don't fall under the GST bracket yet, but yeah, even then, I would say that the trend has started because of the government's initiative. And lastly, again, in the interest of time, I believe COVID played a very major role in making sure that digitization reaches every corner of the country, especially when it comes to payments acceptance. It was something which I feel was a huge shift from pre-COVID to post-COVID. And therefore, now people are willing to invest on those things. People are willing to take sort of risk, if I can call it, to make sure that they are digital, whether it's again on e-commerce, whether it's related to payment gateways, whether it's related to any of these things, branding, which can increase their market. And that is something which I would say I have seen a huge change.
Thank you. Now we shift to, on the same vein, we all know how world has changed post-COVID. And one of the things to be noted is that today India has really leveraged the India's public digital infrastructure. And as we speak, more than 50% of all digital transactions happening in the world originate from India. I mean, India is involved. Now, this cannot have been dreamt a few years back. See, this is where some of us who have been in the system for very long, have been talking about all this for a very long time, have seen that, you see, and India still has those issues of, as we say, we are in the rocket age, we are also in the bullock cart age in some parts. So we have that big challenge, remote areas, rural areas, tier 2, tier 3. So this is my question today to Nandini, that a behemoth, a very big giant, world leader, Microsoft, what does it think of, serving rural areas, making it affordable? Because that is what is of relevance to the MSMEs. We all know that big clients and all that, they can take care of themselves in terms of digitalization and knowing what policy but what to do about this, the micro IMG, the IME that I talked about. So can we have?
Yeah, sure, sir. So Like I said, maybe few of you are privileged here to be in Delhi NCR or travel from few places, but it's spread across the Indian geography. The way Microsoft looks at is we have a segment of business called SMB, and that's where we lean more on our partners, technology partners. And our special focus is our partner presence in across tier 2, tier 3 cities, which can help on scaling as well as providing technology to the maximum reach possible. But when it comes to, one is the availability of technology, but when you look at your own journey, I think cloud is the way to go. The reason is some of the pointers that in the beginning opening remarks, what Dr. Ranjan mentioned and Ashwita mentioned, whether it's about security or cyber security, cost saving, skilling, right? So sustainability and global reach, how do we further increase the global reach? If we look at all these aspects, I think the way cloud provides you these benefits is really the one to go for. In terms of adoption, let's say most of you might be using cloud for only storage, right? So you have created a lot of documents or some sheets or something, but then yes, it does exist in, let's say, a storage. And you also have, let's say, Tally, and you've been using Tally for your financial accounting, and which is critical to your business. And how do you further drive your transformation is also identifying the right use case. That right use case, something can give you immediate value. And that's where we are now in the era of AI. In whatever form and shape the data or systems are, how do you leverage AI to transform your business across all those 4 pillars I spoke about? Now, as Microsoft, what we have made, one is, like I said, skilling availability, right? So each of you just go to MS Learn and build your skills and technology. That's one area. The second, like I said, when you start dreaming big, you have to first start small and scale faster, right? Pick up something, like I said, very relevant, a business use case, which you need to really see the value immediately and start adding, and which would help you to transform completely. It's a journey. It cannot happen in weeks or months, but it depends on the journey that you take towards. And third is also very, very critical is security, right? When we talk about security, it's not about login, user credentials. The most important thing, which again panelists talked about, is the compliance, regulatory requirements, privacy requirements. Again, I want to cite one of my personal example here. Few years back, I had to go for an education loan, and we have to give a collateral for that, right? So I applied for one of the bank, and bank sent one person who takes a photograph of all my house property. After a week, I start getting calls. Are you selling your house? Do you have a financial need? Just look at the data breach, right? Which means bank is not aware what's happening because they have outsourced this activity of verifying my property. The reason I'm saying is it's not just about transforming yourself. You need to look at how do you transform your suppliers, your partners, and their suppliers. I think that is where you can handle this entire security, privacy, compliance. So that's where the policies, I think, again, I'm sure the esteemed panelists are already working towards it. Those come into play. How do you bring that end-to-end ownership of the business by innovating through tech, right? So I feel the opportunity is immense. It's only the ideas to be converted as a part of your transformation journey. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have come to the last phase of our this session, and which is the most exciting. Take questions from the audience. And of the remaining time that we have, I'd like to invite questions from the audience whoever feels like asking anything from any of the, yeah, please identify yourself. Just mention your name and if the question is to one of us specifically or in general.
Yes, team, please help us with the mic.
Check.
Yes, please pass the mic to the gentleman.
My name is Suresh. The bank account of a Chole Bhature vendor in Delhi was frozen last year after. Hello? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. Can you,
No, the mic is on. Can you speak a little loudly? That's all.
My name is Suresh. Can you hear me now?
keep it very close.
You can hear me now? So can you hear me now? Yes. So the bank account of a Chole Bhature vendor in Delhi was frozen last year after 105 rupees was credited to his account from an account linked to cyber crime. Delhi High Court ordered the unfreezing of his bank account and the placing of a lien of 105 rupees on his account till the case was concluded. Could the attitude of government agencies be discouraging the digital transformation of MSMEs?
Basically, it was because he was accepting payments digitally, and that's what they could pay.
I think again it brings me to what I had reiterated earlier. Yes, I'm not aware of the specifics of the case, but I believe he was accepting the payments digitally, right? So again, the point that I had made earlier when I said that when we are looking at the transition of, say, a micro enterprise like a single seller, see, compliances will definitely come in. So there has to be a fine balance between adopting digitization, and yet we cannot wish away the various laws or statutes of the country that would be acting on you. Because as you know that compliances related to income tax would also come in the moment you have deposits of cash in your account. So again, like I said, I do not know the specifics in this case, but yes, that could have been one of the reasons why the account was sealed. So like I said, it has to be a fine balance between them realizing the incentives to digitize, and at the same time you have to be a law-abiding citizen as well, because we cannot wish that away and comply with the statutes of the land. So it has to be a fine marriage between those two.
हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ मैं?
Yeah.
जी, थैंक यू। नसीर अहमद सिद्दीकी नाम है मेरा, और MSME का QCI का मिला जुला जो सर्टिफिकेट है, जेट सर्टिफिकेशन का काम कर रहा हूँ मैं। लखनऊ के आसपास हमने करीबन 2000 सर्टिफिकेट बनाए आसपास, सारे मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के। 270 लोगों ने हमसे डिमांड की, फाइल है हमारे पास में, कि हमें बैंक से लोन दिला दीजिए। सर, किसी भी बैंक ने लोन नहीं दिया, किसी भी बैंक ने। मेरे पास फाइल है, मैं आपको दिखा भी सकता हूँ। अब आप बताइए कि हम कहाँ जाएं? प्लीज।
क्वालिटी कंट्रोल सर्टिफिकेशंस वाला इशू हमेशा ही MSMEs का रहा है। ये हो सकता है आपका रीजन स्पेसिफिक इशू हो, बिकॉज रिलक्टेंस थोड़ा सा रहता है, बट जिस तरह से आप बोल रहे हैं, एक बार थोड़ा हमको स्पेसिफिक्स ऑफ द केस ज़्यादा जानना पड़ेगा कि उस क्षेत्र में ऐसा क्यों हुआ है, क्योंकि ये थोड़ा सा इट इज़ नॉट अ वेरी कॉमन अकरेंस कि बिल्कुल ही बैंक्स ने रिफ्यूज़ कर दिया।
ऐसा ठीक है, मैं यही कहूँगा, देखिए आप जो कह रहे हैं ये एक बहुत लोगों ने कहा है कि क्रेडिट जो है, जो MSME का क्रेडिट हो या खाली MSME नहीं, एग्रीकल्चर क्रेडिट हो, क्रेडिट एक बहुत बड़ा समस्या है और सरकार चाहती है कि कितने लोग जो हैं उसका फ़ायदा उठाएं। इसके लिए बहुत सारे स्कीम्स और बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो रही। अब जो आपका वहाँ पे क्या हुआ है, कैसे हुआ, इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा ऑफलाइन हम लोग, क्योंकि अभी आप थोड़ा डिटेल देंगे, यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो आयोजक हैं वो आपको फैसिलिटेट करेंगे और आप उनसे मिलके और फिर इसका यही तो बात है, महोत्सव का यही फ़ायदा है कि आप यहाँ पहुँचे हुए हैं और आपको जो आपको जानकारी देनी है दीजिए, इसका समाधान जो है ये आपने बहुत अच्छा बताया कि अगर आपको वहाँ नहीं हो पाया है और क्यों नहीं हो पाया है तो उसका कम से कम ये लोग कोशिश करेंगे और उसका समाधान खोजने की कोशिश करेंगे.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hi everyone. So thank you to the
Hi.
panelists. I'm here standing.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So thank you everyone, and I think I agree with Mr. Abhishek that Tally is there from very beginning and was a backbone for MSMEs when even the government was not so active on the website and everything. But now to Microsoft, maybe I want to hear that on the India Microsoft website, do we have any section where we can see what all technology platforms or support we have for, especially for the MSMC? Because for corporates, definitely you dominate that everything from Office 365 or any cloud, Azure, and everything is there. But for MSME, it is difficult to choose the services, and we don't see any bucket of services over there which we can use as MSME. So do we have anything over there?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for asking, and thanks for bringing in Azure. Being Microsoft, I didn't mention any tech here. But you know, with like I said, we are into, it's a scale to reach across different tier 2, tier 3 cities. One is availability of the content or a technology. Yes, it is, right? Even there are free trials, there are developer editions. The technology is available, like I think Microsoft is one of those who gave, even including presentations, you'll be able to download from the website, Microsoft website. What I would recommend is, that's where our partners come and play more in terms of giving you the personalized guidance on what is it relevant for you. Depending on that, I think maybe you can reach out to me or to any of the partner you're already working with. But like the skilling, which I mentioned in the beginning, it's publicly available for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, यहाँ पहले का भी अभाव है. I have got already indication that हम लोग.
Yeah, afternoon everybody. Good afternoon everyone. Sir, digital तो बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. This is a success of India. Now we can pay very nicely, and this is very commendable. Now the thing is कि cyber security को how can we improve that? ताकि कोई frauds या कोई spammers ना हो. How can we make it more effective? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, let me give it a shot here because that subject is too vast. Each domain requires a different level of depth there in terms of cyber security or protection. You know, I'm not sure how many of you use Airtel as your mobile number. Nowadays, where if there are spam calls, Airtel itself says a number mentioning spam. Okay? For telecom, that's cyber security. Right? For users, they're giving us some kind of privacy so that we don't take all calls which may be spam. So that's again evolved. One of the startup who built that solution and then took to Airtel, and Airtel really gave us that feature to all of us for free, right? So what I'm trying to say is, for each of the nature of application, nature of transformation, we need to adopt different security controls. Like there is complete subject called responsible AI, in case if the AI is the journey. In case of, for banks, there are different regulatory requirements. For governments, there are regulatory requirements. And like I said, I don't think there is a simple answer to this. We need to work, double down a little more. Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Ashish Chaudhary. I am from electronics background, and we are representing a company. Who is manufacturing solar power backup and green products. We are in this line from 35 years. I am from 15 years. So I'm just sharing you some of our good and bad experience, which may be pain of everyone. So that जो pain है वो आप लोगों तक पहुँचे. और इसमें especially if we talk about electronics, right now, if we talk about digital platform or if we talk about the international market, it's a good platform and we have a good opportunity right now in terms of China. But again, we talk about the technology, again we talk about the resources. That's a big problem, and the thinking as an entrepreneur, that's a big, another big challenge. See, I'm just sharing you one or two my own experience. GST portal came, a lot of digitalization came. When we export to other countries, we are manufacturing for Havells, Tesla, Delight, so many brands, and we are exporting to around 30 countries. So export में जब हमसे गलती हुआ, छोटा सा गलती हुआ, हमें 2 years लगा अपना 2 करोड़ का अपना खुद का GST रिफंड लेने के लिए. They are saying नहीं, अभी पोर्टल नया है, सिस्टम अपग्रेड नहीं हुआ है, नई नोटिफिकेशंस आएंगे तब ये होगा. एक तरफ बैंक से लोन नहीं मिल रहा है, फिर हमारा खुद का GST अटक रहा है, और वो लेने के लिए then again, I'm not open, मुझे नहीं बोलना चाहिए, but bribe, corruption, still there. आप किसी डिपार्टमेंट में चले जाओ, उसके बिना काम नहीं होता.
As you have been told, we have an eminent set of panelists, and they have been introduced. And I, as a moderator, would give you some opening remarks. All of us know about what digitalization is, and digital transformation of the MSMEs. It involves integrating digital technologies into their operations to improve efficiency, improve their customer experience, and overall business outcomes. So the idea is, I mean, it's obvious that it should be very useful to them, but why it is not happening? We all know MSMEs can automate their processes, improve their efficiency, reduce operational costs, which will make them competitive and gain more market share for themselves. It gives them a bigger market through digital marketing, online marketing. But still, we all know from our experience that the MSMEs lag behind in taking full advantage of the technology and the digitalization process. And we all know why, because there could be limited digital literacy, lack of digital infrastructure where they operate, and also their concerns or their misgivings about what this whole new structure is. There can be a high cost of technology for some of them because, as we have all been told, that many of them are very small. And because of that, they have no access, they have no knowledge, they don't have skilled workforce to get into this digital transformation pathway. And for that, we should also take into account what government has been doing. The government has been, for a long time, trying to improve all this through various methods. We have the digital stack, which you all know. India prides itself in the world today in trying to lead the digital transformation in a public systems way. And when we do that, we also need to see that we carry the MSMEs along. And today's discussion is for that. Now, a little bit, I thought I will mention where I come from. In fact, first let me start with thanking Mr. Arvind. We go a long way. You see, we were students together 43 years back. We were yesterday trying to figure out how many years. 43 years back, we were students in IIM Ahmedabad. And then we went in different areas. He went into banking, and then he went abroad. He was almost 30 years. I mean, he kept coming once in a while for visiting. And I remember once or twice we met, but 30 years he's been away from India. Now he comes back to India and trying to, organize this whole big show and trying to see what could be most important for him. So he has chosen that it's the MSMEs who need more, help, and trying to have this kind of a mahotsav. So let me again say that I'm very happy for calling me here. I took a different path. I joined the government, And as you all know, I was allotted the Tamil Nadu cadre of the Indian Administrative Service. And to the MSMEs side, I must share with you, tell you that I have a lot of interaction over last 4 decades. Very particularly, I was in Government of India as Director and then Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. And specifically, I was handling some of the subjects which we are talking about, including the intellectual property regime. And, there's a champions, some of you, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs here, there is one scheme of the government which is still running, which is called the MSME Champions. It actually is let's say, a refinement of what we had started 20 years back. And I will share with you a little bit of how things, this is an interesting example in itself. Maybe when time permitting, we will get into that. So I, from here, after being here for 5 years in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, I was given a very unique opportunity to be part of something called the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Now, this is something which is very unique. I don't know how many of you are aware. This was what it was a highest level think tank, and it used to report to the Prime Minister directly and comprised of the highest levels of decision making, and it had the best of academics, the best of industrialists, the cream of what you can think the Indian society was represented in this. And the idea was to push manufacturing. And doing that, the central theme was that unless the Indian industry is internationally competitive, it cannot, be what we are aspiring for in terms of being a manufacturing powerhouse in the world. So I served there, and there again we looked at MSME. And then I was, I went to the Tamil Nadu government, and there I was fortunately again given the charge of Industries Commissioner. And I was able to, contribute to make the MSME policy of Tamil Nadu in 2008. Tamil Nadu was the first state in the country to make a separate MSME policy. If you recall, Government of India had done this in 2007 when the MSME policy came out. And it is relevant today, that's why I'm quoting. So we did it for Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu, as you all know, had the largest number, or is one of the largest number of small factories in the whole of the country, as per the, if you see the census reports of the factories. So all that is there, and that brings me to later on then I was industry secretary in Tamil Nadu looking after major industries. So I had a whole career, looking at all this. I came back to the Government of India looking at GST, where again there is an issue of, I was Special Secretary GST Council.